Hi guys, this is Christy Fulk with Create with Christy. I'm independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US. Well, today I'm here with my April online class intro video. This one's for the Flowering Tulips online class, and I've extended the date. You can pre-order this class, register for this class by April 18th. I wasn't able to get this video out like I wanted. Technical difficulties. I have a new phone, and I had turned on a setting that I didn't realize I had on. Thought I had turned it off, and it didn't work with my editing, and it was just a big mess. So this is a take number 2. So I hope you enjoy this card. And if you want to see another card I've made with this bundle, just click on that link that's going to pop up at the top right corner. And I will also have it down in the video description in case you don't see that little thing pop up, because that doesn't pop up on all applications. So I hope you enjoy this card. But first off, I'm going to show you everything that you get in the class. Okay, first off, let me show you what comes in the class. You get a half pack of the Flowering Fields Designer Series paper. They're going to be in 6 by 12 inch pieces, and you'll get 2 of each. So this is what this side looks like, and here's the other side. Then we've got this beautiful side. I love the colors in this paper. And this. And we get this one. So this is everything you'll get in the class, and here's the other side to that one. Then I have this one. And there's the other side to that one. And this is the one I'll be using in this card. Then we've got this one. I like the purples in this one. And this one. And there's this side and this side. So it's a really neat pack. So you get that half pack. And then you will also get, so I'll leave this right here. You will also get a full pack of the brushed brass butterflies. This is also in the same suite as the tulips. And you'll get a full roll of the Evening Evergreen Windowpane check ribbon. It's a really neat ribbon. I like it a lot. So you get this in the class. You also get supplies to make 4 cards. 2 will be special cards, and special cards are either fun fold or technique, something like that. And then 2 regular cards. So I'll give you all the cardstock that you need to make those cards. I will also give you 2 video tutorials. One video is for both the 2 special cards, and the other video is for the 2 regular cards. And you will also get an ebook or a PDF, whichever way you want to call it. They'll give you the dimensions, pictures of the cards, the supply list that you need to get together. And if you ever want to make it again, like I said, all the dimensions are there, so you can cut out cardstock again if you want to make those cards again. Now, that class is $48, but I do have 2 add-ons that you can add. If you do not have the Flowering Tulips bundle and you do need this to finish the cards, this will be an additional $64. And then you also can get sponge daubers. It'll be a little bag with 5 sponge daubers. They look like this, these little guys. And of course, yours will be white. They'll be clean. So you get a full pack of those if you want to add those on, and that's $6.75 additional. So let me recap real quick. You will get a half pack. I'm not going to be able to show all the designs here, but half pack of the Flowering Fields Designer Series paper. They'll be in 6 by 12 inch pieces. The full pack of the brushed brass butterflies, and a full roll of the Evening Evergreen Windowpane check ribbon. That's $48. If you don't have the bundle to be able to finish the cards, then you want to add this on, and this will be an additional $64. And then if you don't have any sponge daubers, you'll get a brand new pack of 5 sponge daubers for $6.75. So when you fill out the registration form, you just let me know if you want those add-ons or not. Okay, so that is the class. Now we will get ready to make the card I showed you a minute ago. Okay, one thing I forgot to tell you with the online class, I do have a video link down in the video description. Just click on that, and you can find out more information about the class, and you can also register while you're there. And there is also a video-only option I forgot to mention, and that's $20. The class with the supplies, that is just for USA residents only. The video-only option is for anyone that lives around the world. Okay, let's get started on this card, and if you'd like to stamp along with me, just look down in the video description below and click on the blog post link, and you'll find the dimensions and the supply list. You can get everything together and come back and make the card with me. Okay, now here's the bundle we're going to get out. The dies you're going to need this one here. You're going to need this larger one to cut out the large tulip. This is the medium one for the medium-sized tulip. We're going to need both of the leaf dies, and we're going to need the shorter, wider of the stems. This is the one that die cuts the stamped stem. And those are all the dies we need. Now with the stamps, you're going to need both leaves and the stem. You're going to need the "Let Today Be the Start of Something New" greeting. You'll need the medium-sized flower, so it's these two right here. The large tulip, which are all three of these here. So you need both of those and a little center. So those are all the stamps that you're going to need. And I'm also going to be using the Tasteful Textile 3D embossing folder. This is retiring, and this is one of my favorite embossing folders. So if you don't have this yet, you're really going to want to get it, and you'll get to see it in action here in just a minute. First off, let's get a little stamping done. So I want you to grab one of the 4 by 5 1/4 inch pieces of the basic white. This is going to be the front of our card. And we're going to grab the Evening Evergreen ink pad and our greeting stamp, the one that says, "Let today be the start of something new." And we're going to stamp it up near the top left corner. So the something word is the longest one. I'm going to put that closest to the left side of my paper, but then come down just a little bit. I don't want it all the way to the top. Hold that down for a few seconds. And that's ready to go. So we'll put this to the side. Okay, now I want you to get another piece of basic white out. This one is a 4 by 3 3/4 inch piece. And I want you to grab the 2 stamps that are for the big flower, the big tulip. Now, it's hard to tell without any ink on them, but one of these, which is this one, has some thinner lines. This one just has a bunch of fat lines. No real lines, actually. These do. This means this one is the more detailed one and needs to be darker. So I am grabbing, I have this open, so let me just show you. It's the Mango Melody. I'm going to ink up the one that has the more detail to it. Now you can kind of see how it's got some thinner lines over here. So I'm going to stamp this one down in the bottom corner of this piece. Hold it down for a few seconds. Make sure the ink soaks into the paper. Now this one, I want to get a lighter version of the Mango Melody. I'm going to ink it up, and you see on this one, there are no thinner lines. Okay, so that's the one that's going to be lighter. We're going to do a thing called stamping off. Some people are new, so I want to make sure you know what this is. You just stamp on some scrap paper. Then you line it up, and it's going to give you a lighter version of that Mango Melody. And the reason you want to stamp with the dark first, hopefully you can see that. You can see through the lighter ink on the stamp to see the darker down below. So that makes it a lot easier to line up. So there we go. So now we've got a little detail. Really like that. Sorry. Dealing with allergies today, so hopefully my throat's going to make it through this. And my nose. So let's go ahead and grab, let's do the center of this. I almost always forget. You notice there's a hole right there. We've got this really neat center here. I almost always forget to stamp that. So grab your Evening Evergreen ink pad again. And we will just stamp this right in the middle. There we go. So that one is ready to go. Now we're going to grab, that's all we need, the Evening Evergreen. So that's when I went ahead and close that up. Grab our Pumpkin Pie ink pad. Now this one is a little easier to figure out to do the light and the dark. The bigger one is the dark, the smaller one is the light. So we're going to ink this one up at the pumpkin pie. And I'll just stamp it close like so. Okay. Then we're going to take this one. This is one we want to be lighter. And you see these 2 little sections are just white inside. These little humps here will line up with these 2 humps here. Oop, looks like I need to clean off my ink pad. Let me get, noticing some little, there we go. I had an old sponge dauber that was falling apart when I made my first card, and I think this stuck to my ink pad. So we're going to stamp off to make it lighter. Then we're going to line it up in that section with those little humps there. There we go, and it colors in that and gives it a little dimension to it. So the flowers are done. Now we're going to grab our leaves. So let's get both of the leaves, and we want to grab this stem and our soft succulent ink pad. We are going to need 2 stems since we're doing 2 flowers. Now I find it's easier. I don't want to get any ink on my block unless I at least try not to. I think it's easier to put this upside down so the stamp is on top, and then I can lightly touch it with the ink pad. I have more control, and now I'm not getting any ink where I don't want it. So let's put a stem here. Okay. We're We're going to do that one more time since we need 2 of them. I'll put it right here, and it's okay if they're a little close together because we've only got 1 die for that, so we're going to be fine. Now we'll grab our leaves, and I think I'm even going to do that the same way. They're not real thin, but I don't want to take a chance. And it really doesn't matter too much with this one, though, to be honest, since we're going to be die cutting. Forgot about that, but this will just teach you, because there are times you don't want to die cut your leaves. So that'll help you. I did get a little ink there, but we'll be okay. There we go. Okay, now we're not stamping anymore, but we do need to grab a piece of basic white cardstock. This is a 4 by 1.5 inch piece, and we're going to die cut this with this one, that little tulip row. I want to show you a little technique I used. I thought it turned out pretty good when I did it on my card. I'm going to bring in my soft succulent and a sponge dauber. Almost couldn't reach it there for a second. And we're going to ink this up. And about the bottom half of this, I'm going to sponge with a soft succulent. I'm okay if I see little circles from my sponge dauber, because when we die cut it, it's just going to look like there's some shading to it. Okay, so it doesn't have to look real beautiful. So we've got that done. Now we will grab our pumpkin pie ink pad, and I'm going to put a little bit. Like I said, you can see those little marks there. I'm going to make sure I've got a new sponge dauber now. It's not falling apart anymore, so don't have to worry about that happening again. But I think we're going to need to clean off that ink pad. So there, I've got some orange there, and I'm making sure I go over the green just a little bit because I don't want to have any white showing. Let's go ahead and grab the Fresh Freesia ink pad, another sponge dauber, and then I'm going to do a section here. Not a real big one. There we go. And I'm going to grab my Mango Melody, and we're going to do the same thing. Now, there's not a lot of room left, so I'm going to do the Mango Melody probably just a little bit wider. Oops, I went over my green a little too much, but that's okay. Because like I said, when we die cut, it's going to look really cool. Then we'll grab, let's do the pumpkin pie again. We'll put a little bit right here. And let's do the last one with our Fresh Freesia. I'm not using a lot of Fresh Freesia because I didn't use that anywhere else on the card, but I thought it just needed a little more of a color pop. So that's why I added that. So now that we've got that sponged, we've got all the stamping done, we're going to need to get our die cutting machine out. Okay, I've got my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine out. And to die cut, in case you haven't die cut before, you need platform number 1. This is the big base plate. Then the die plate number 2. And then a standard cutting plate number 3. Let's go ahead and grab these. We'll get these dies going here. We're going to put this one right here. And I love our dies that well, here, let's move this up here because I'm going to be able to do another thing in here, I think. We are going to put this down, and the image goes directly inside. See, it completely fills the hole in the center of the die. So we'll put that there. I think I'll put another one right here just so it doesn't move on me. We'll grab the other tulip die. We will put it right here so it fills in that center. Move this down a little bit, fill it in a little better. There we go. I bet you that's enough on the tape there. Now I'm going to grab my larger leaf. We've got the little hump here. There's the hump there, so that's where we want to do that. You've got a 50% chance on this. You know what? That is going over my tulip die, so we will do this later because I'm going to have to do 2 stems anyway, and I want that leaf to cut out right. Now this one has plenty of room, so we're going to go ahead. So you ever have dies overlapping a little bit, you better run it through one again because they may mess up. Oops, I do need another. I just tapped that and it moved on me. So we're going to use another piece of tape. Get that back on there again. There we go. And I'm going to do this top stem over here because it's a little farther away. Put that right there in the middle. And by the way, this tape I'm using is called Post-it tape. Found it on Amazon. Let me grab another one here. I thought I had enough out, but this is what it looks like. You can probably find it at office supply stores too. Oh my goodness, I moved that, didn't I? He probably saw me do it. So we'll get this back in here again. because I had too much white shown over here on this end. So I've got that there. The neat thing about this, it's like using Post-its, but you don't have, you know how Post-it, most of them anyway, just have a little strip at the top. The tape is just a little bit easier. So let me grab my standard cutting plate again, put it right on top. And that gives us the correct sandwich to go through the machine, and it'll die cut everything out. Don't worry if you hear crunching like you just did. That is normal. The first time I used a die cutting machine, I thought I was breaking it. It was making such a big loud noise. So here's the stem. We'll leave that die there because we're going to need it again. Then we've got our leaf. But see how easy that tape is coming off. I love it. Now, if you don't have it, you can also use Post-it tape. That also, not Post-it tape. I just said that. You can use washi tape. There we go. And I have used painter's tape in a pinch, but make sure you do not use masking tape. That will definitely tear up your cardstock. There we go. And we don't need that die anymore. And like I said, too, you can also tear up some Post-it notes and use a sticky part of the Post-it note, too. And there's that flower. So now we have got the stem here. So let's put it right here. And I'm going to move this up a little bit because I do have that tulip border die. Oop, if you notice, see my die plate moved on me. So we're going to move that down because you want to make sure that they are stacked right on top of each other because that gives you the right thickness for it to die cut right. So put this one on. I'm keeping it away from the leaf because I definitely want to get that through again. Let me find that. Where'd I put that die? Okay, now I've got the larger leaf again. And we'll put this right here. And I'm going to grab the one that we sponged here. I'm going to move this up a little bit, but I still want to make sure it stays in the sandwich. Make some room for this one. I'm going to put the succulent color down, the green color down at the bottom, because I only want the green to go right here where the stems and this is going to be our grass right along here. Now, the neat thing about this die, there is no blade here along the bottom. So your grass can be as wide as you want it to be. So I'm kind of lining this up. I'm going to try to make it so the flowers are what are in the colors. If they don't match up perfectly, it's okay. Just make sure you don't have these top flowers going off your cardstock. Then you're going to chop it off. So I'm going to put some right here. Hold it down. And grab this one because I don't want that moving on me either. I'm not worrying about putting it on the cardstock as much. It looks like it's popping off. That piece was a little too small. So I'll put another one. There we go. We are ready. So get this back down there. Run this through. And you already know what the leaves look like. I'm going to keep the suspense going so you can see what those flowers look like. It is so cool. Got that ready. And then our last stem. Okay. Get this die off so I don't lose it. I'm always worried I'm going to lose my dies. Take the tape off of this one. And when the tape starts to tear, that's when I throw that tape away because you can use them over and over again. When they start tearing, you want to get new ones out. But isn't this pretty? And look how easy all those pieces came out. There's a little one there, didn't. There we go. But isn't that kind of cool? Now, I've got a little green showing on this flower. I'm going to leave it that way. No, it's actually probably leaves. No, it's a tulip. That is a tulip. It depends on which way you look at it. I could go back and take my sponge and kind of add a little more orange to it if I really wanted to. Like this one, tulip has a little more green to it. I'm not going to worry about it. I think it looks good that way. I just like it just looks artistic. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, now we are done die cutting, but we are going to do some embossing. Remember I showed you that embossing folder is about to retire? We're going to use that. Now, this one is called a 3D folder, so it's a little thicker than the regular embossing folders. So all you need is the base platform number 1. We're going to take this, and whenever you have some stamping on a piece that you're going to emboss, make sure you stamp first, because when it's got that texture, you're not going to be able to stamp. It's not going to look right. So we're going to go ahead and close this. I'm lining up the bottom edge of the paper with that line that they have in the folder. You want the fold to go in first. That helps protect your folder. And then you need this specialty plate that also comes with the Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. All the plates you've seen me use come with this, which is really nice. We're going to run this through. So this is the sandwich for the 3D folder. All you need is the base platform and the specialty plate on top with the embossing folder and paper underneath. We will open this up. Hopefully you'll see this. I love the texture with that. Isn't that cool? Very neat. So this is the Tasteful Textile folder. So make sure you get this if you don't have it already, because it's retiring. It's while supplies last, or until May 2nd of 2022, whichever comes first. So it could sell out before May 2nd, I mean. So make sure you get it quick. Okay, we are done with the die cutting machine. Let's finish this card. I'm doing my card base a little differently than I normally do. This still is a half sheet of cardstock, 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, but I cut it down halfway, the lengthway, or however you want to say it. So it's 4.25 by 11 inches. Now I find when you cut it this direction halfway, the fibers in the cardstock is a little harder to get it to fold without scoring. So I'm going to grab my paper trimmer, get my blade out of the way, and we're going to use the scoring blade. And the halfway mark of 11 inches is 5.5. So we will line this up at 5.5 inches and score. Put some pressure down and do it a few times. And now we've got a score line right here, and it's going to make it a lot easier to fold. So I'm going to grab my bone folder. And with scoring, you want the hill to be on the inside. It actually folds better that way. It's okay if you do it the other way, but that's just the rule of thumb. So now we've got that ready to go. Let's grab the piece that we embossed. And we are going to put a piece of this designer series paper. This is the Flowering Fields. Now there are two of them. One is 4 by 1.5 and one is 4 by 1. This is the wider one, and that's the one you want for the outside. So we are going to put some adhesive on here. And we'll put this here along the bottom. I'm going to line it up right with the edges of the embossed white piece. Okay. Now we're going to put some flowers on here. Now this will go on after we do our flowers. So I'm going to put this over here. Here are all our flowers. And our stems. Oop, I'm missing a stem. Where'd my other stem go? Oh, there it is. Okay, now I'm going to grab my silicone mat. The first thing I'm going to put down are the stems, but when I do flowers, a lot of times I lay things down first before I put them down. So I'm going to want this one. I like how I can turn this one around and have it angle the other direction. And this one, I want to angle this way. So I'm going to have them be like this. I want this flower to be on the left side, and this one to be on the right. And I'm going to have it kind of hang over just a little bit. I don't want it to hang over a lot, because there's not going to be a lot of the card base showing here. Just kind of play around with it. I kind of like the orange one being a little lower. The something looks like it's about to get covered up, so we're going to move it over a little bit. Okay, so now that I've got the flowers where I want them, you can tell my stems moved. I'm okay with that. I want to keep those flowers about where I have them here. Okay, pull these out. Then I'm going to take this and put some glue on it. I've got my multi-purpose glue. You could put glue dots on here too. I'm just going to put this right across here. And if you have a section that has it a little bit too, you've got a glob or something, this is how you do it. I didn't really get much of a glob, but you can put it on your silicone craft mat. You get glue on here, but it takes away the big bubble or whatever you've got there. And then when this dries, I can peel it right off and use it again. So I'm going to lay this down. I'm going to not have this go down too far past my designer series paper, but I'm going to hold this end, and then I can tell that that's where I want it to go. So I'll move my flower out of the way, put this down and hold it down for a few seconds because we want the glue to take hold. The yellow one is still right where I want it. So let's get our glue on this stem here. If I can get it going here, there we go. Sometimes with these glue bottles, you can't tell if they're about gone or if they're still full. Okay, that I did get a little glob. Let's take a little bit of that off. That's why I use my silicone mat a lot. It protects my work surface, and it also makes it so I can take a little bit of glue off if I get too much on there. I'm going to have these intersect just a little bit. It doesn't matter if they intersect perfectly because we're going to be covering this bottom part up. So there we go. I'm going to get that flower out of the way before I get glue on it. Hold that down. Okay. Now we're going to put these on with dimensionals. So I'm going to turn this orange one over, the pumpkin pie one. And this one's not real big, so we'll just put one on each end. This one's just a little bit bigger. So let's put one here, and then we'll put like two more, one right here and one right here, kind of make a little triangle. Now I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool. I'm scooping, oops, didn't get hold of that one. There we go. My paper backing's off. Throw those away. I'm going to put this over. Remember, I want this to be a little lower. So I'm going to bring it down the stem just a little bit. Make sure you don't see the stem popping out the top, though. We don't want that. Now, I'm going to lay this down gently. I'm not going to push it down just yet in case I want to move it. It looks like I need to. Let me get that center. There we go. Now, you can still see the something, but I don't want to push it down all the way just in case I want to move it. Then we're going to take paper backing off again. And this one is going to go right here. I want it a little higher up, but make sure you don't have a gap in between the stem and your flower. I've got a little bit of it hanging off, but not much. That's perfect. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and push those down. Then we've got our two sizes of leaves. I'm going to use the big one and put it here on the side with the bigger flower. So I could use my seal with this one, Stampin' Seal, but I'm going to go ahead and just use some of the multi-purpose glue. Now with these leaves, you want the little hump on here to be on the inside. You want it closer to the stem. So I'm going to do it like so. I'm going to angle a little bit because I kind of like the look of this hanging off a little bit too. Hold that down. Okay. And then we'll put some glue here. Once again, we're going to have the hump on the inside. Put this one down here. That looks good, so I'm going to push the rest of it down. Okay, the flowers are all ready to go. Now we need to put this beauty on. Now, a lot of times with my bigger ones, I go ahead and clip off the borders. As you can tell, I've taken a lot of my borders off. So I've got my mini dimensionals close by, so I'll go ahead and use these. Now, I'm not going to worry about putting dimensionals on any of the flowers. I'm just going to put it down here where the grass is. Put one on each end. And because this is kind of long, I'm going to put one here and one right here. Let's kind of move this down a little bit. And one more. I just thought this looked really neat popped up rather than having it flat here. And plus, with these kind of stacked up on top of each other, we don't really want to see a hump underneath this. So once again, get that paper backing off. Okay. And this is going to go right across here like so. And I want to make sure that I'm covering up the bottom here. I don't want those stems coming out here. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. And I don't want my designer series paper to show on the top. So you just get right there in the middle. There we go. Isn't that neat? I thought that just looked really pretty. Makes it look like the big flowers are surrounded by little border flowers. So we will go ahead and put this on the card base. Like so. I always make sure, I know everybody does it differently. I always like to make sure I have adhesive on the corners so they don't pop up. And make sure your fold is on top. You don't want to put this on upside down. Believe me, I have done that quite a few times. Then we will put that right in the center. Now, you can stop there if you want to, but I really wanted to use those butterflies. This is the brushed brass butterflies. There we go. And I think I'm going to use my putty end, kind of scoop one off, and the putty will hold on to the butterfly. I kind of like having a big one up here. I'm going to use a couple small ones. Let's put one, I think I'll have them go that direction, and another one like that. We'll do it that way. I usually do them like in triangles. Whenever you put bling on, the rule of thumb is to use an odd number. It's not something you have to do, but it just kind of makes it more eye appealing that way. Make a little triangle out of them. So we've got the front done. And now I'm going to do something a little different on the inside. So grab that last piece of basic white. This is 4x5 1/4. You want to grab the last piece of the Flowering Fields. This is the 4x1 inch piece. And then a 6-inch piece of that Evening Evergreen Windowpane check ribbon. So I'm just going to put this right here along the bottom. Put a little bit there, and this is going to go right across the bottom. Make sure your tulips are going the right direction. Put this on the bottom of my piece. Now it looks to me like I might have made it a little longer than I needed to. Yep, I did. So I'm going to grab my snips. Whenever this happens, just turn your paper over and put your scissors right up against that cardstock, and you can cut that paper off nice and straight. That cardstock makes it so you can cut it nice and straight. Because I don't know about you, I can't do that unless I have a little help. So that cardstock helps you. So that looks pretty good. Now we're going to grab that 6-inch piece of the ribbon. I'm going to put some adhesive on each. You can also use glue dots, but the seal will work too. And then we'll just wrap this around the top of the designer series paper, and it'll stick to the back. And then when you go to do the other end, try to make it so this DSP looks even. So that'll make the ribbon be straight. Okay, that looks really good to me. So let's go ahead and put this on the inside of our card. And I always make sure I put some adhesive on the ribbon so it doesn't pop up on me later. But I thought that makes the inside match the outside of the card. So there we go. So I hope you enjoyed that card. And I just realized when I got done with this card, I did it a little different than my original. I'm going to show you something. I don't know if you can tell, so it's not a big difference. This one, I've got the designer series paper embossed too. So what I did, I stamped this, then I put the designer series paper on here. Then I ran it through my embossing folder in my machine to get it embossed. That embossed the designer series paper and this. Now this one is not embossing that. So either look looks really good. So that just gives you two little subtle differences to the card. So I hope you enjoyed today's card. And if you'd like to stamp with me again, make sure that you click on that subscribe button below and then select all when the little bell icon pops up. That way YouTube will notify you every time I upload a video. And if you live in the United States and do not have a demonstrator of your own, I would love to be yours. And I'd be happy to mail out our current catalogs. Now, this is not current, but it's going to be starting up really soon. This is the new annual catalog and the January to June mini catalog that ends at the end of June. And this is the catalog. The mini catalog is the one that has the Flowering Tulips bundle in it. And if you do not have a demonstrator of your own and live in the U.S., I would love to send your first set of copies out to you for free. So there are those. So make sure you click that contact me link below, and send me your mailing address, and I'll get it mailed out to you right away. Show you the cards one more time. And also don't forget about my Flowering Tulips online class. In the class, you get you'll make 4 cards, so you get all the supplies to make the cardstock. I mean, to make the cards and any embellishment. If I add any more embellishments, then we've also got the half pack of the Flowering Fields Designer Series paper. You get they're 6 by 12 inch pieces, so you get 2 of each design. You will get the brushed brass butterflies, full pack, and the full roll of the Evening Evergreen Windowpane check ribbon. You get all of that for $48, plus the videos, video tutorials, and the ebook / PDF, which way you want to call it. And then you have the option, if you don't have the Flowering Tulips bundle, and you do need the bundle to get the to make the projects. Well, not all the dies are here since I used them, but you'll get that. You can add on the bundle for $64. And then if you don't have the sponge daubers, you'll get actually 5 sponge daubers. They'll be white. You'll get a full pack of sponge daubers, clean ones, brand new ones, never used, and that'll cost you $6.75. And just click on that online class link below to find out more and to get registered. And you've got until April 18th of 2022. Well, I hope you enjoyed the card. Let me get this out so you can see it again. And I will see you in the next video. And please support my channel by giving me a thumbs up or commenting below. I really do appreciate it. See you in the next video, guys. I hope you enjoy my class. Bye.